A common component in cabinet making is the raised panel. It's used in multiple applications. Typically, a raised panel is made on a table saw by tipping the blade over and running the panel through vertically. I've seen some people do it on a table saw with the conventional factory fence, but it's a very unsafe operation. I'll show you how to build a fence that's taller, and because it has a support arm off the back, is stable and much safer to use. A tall fence makes the process safer, but the fence has to be stable. This one, no matter how tightly you clamp it, can still shift a little bit as you hold the panel up against it. My fence is built somewhat like a conventional high fence, except what I've added is this arm off the back to stabilize it, so that when it's installed on the saw, the arm, which has an adjustment screw to square it up, is now much more stable and won't wobble when you press against it as you make your cut. There are a few different styles of raised panels, but one I like especially has the panel in the center with a square edge all the way around it. I like to do a small shoulder cut around the field before I do the main cuts. The first step in making a raised panel this way is to set the fence for the width of the raising and to set the blade to just a very shallow cut that'll define the field in the center of the panel. I've drawn my slope on here. Once you've defined the field, the next thing to do is set the blade height and the angle, put the fence in place, and you're ready to make your big cuts. It's a nice looking raised panel. There are only a few components to the fence. There's a large front piece, lower back piece that clamps to the saw's original rip fence, 4 blocks that stiffen the panel and are wide enough to leave room for the clamp to reach in, and the support piece that reaches over the fence and then back down to the saw table to stabilize it. The brace just clears the fence with some room to spare, and underneath I've left a 3/8 gap between the bottom of the brace and the table, and that's taken up by the adjustment screw, which you'll use to get the face of the fence perfectly vertical after you've installed it. There are no real critical dimensions on this. I've found that a fence about 10 inches high and 3 feet long is the appropriate size. The back brace just reaches to, just a little short of the height of the front face of the fence. The position of the brace is forward, about a foot back from the front and 2 feet from the back, so it's positioned about even with the front of the saw blade when you're making your cut. Making a raised panel on a table saw is a simple, fast technique, doesn't require any special cutting tools, and if you do it with a tall fence like I've just shown you how to make, it's a fast, safe procedure.